Hey, I'm Matt from DrumWise. Hope you're doing okay today. Today we've just got a quick lesson for you about orchestration. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take one rhythm and we're going to start to orchestrate it around the kit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take 4 16th notes, all right, and we're going to play them at the end of the bar on beat 4. So our 16th notes will be 4, E and A. Okay, so that's the basic initial idea. So let's just hear how that sounds in the context of a simple groove. Okay, so we can hear at the end there's our 4E and 16th notes. All right, and that sounds okay by itself, but what we can start to do is just take this rhythm and get a whole ton of different ideas out of it. So the idea is that we get a lot of mileage out of this one rhythm by applying it around the drum kit. So first thing we're going to do is just play it between 2 voices on the kit, and that means 2 different drums or cymbals on the kit. When we done it on the snare drum, that was just what we would call on one voice, all on the snare drum. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to play it between the snare drum, so 2 notes on the snare drum, and then 2 notes on the high tom. So this is how it will sound. And in the context of the groove. Okay, so it's the same rhythm. Again, I should probably point out that we're playing these at the moment right, left. Okay, so nothing else is changing other than where we're actually playing it on the kit. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll take the same idea, same sticking pattern, same 4 notes on 4 E and A, and we're just going to reverse what we did there. So instead of playing 2 on the snare and 2 on the tom, we're going to start with 2 on the tom and then play 2 on the snare, which will sound like this. Okay, so that's our 4 E and A. Let's hear how that sounds with the groove. Okay, another option to do, we could just move it round to the floor tom instead. So again, sounds similar, but again, it's a different orchestration. So let's hear that with the groove as well. Okay, so those are all between 2 voices. Let's try some that are now between 3 voices on the kit. So we're going to start off with a snare drum with the right hand. Left's going to go up to the high tom, and then you'll see at the end on the notation that we've got 2 on the floor tom. So let's hear how that sounds with the groove. Okay, so you can hear that now that we've added an extra drum into this and we're playing between 3 voices, it's starting to get a little bit more interesting. Let's try another orchestration. So let's start off with the floor tom with our right hand, up to the high tom with our left hand, and then we'll finish with a right left on the snare drum. So again, all still on our 4 E and A. Okay, so already we've got quite a few different ideas just by playing between the snare drum and some different toms. So we've also got cymbals and basically anything else you can think of to use on your kit that we could use as well. So what we'll do is just on the first note of our 4 E and A, so it's going to be on the 4, we're going to add a crash cymbal with the bass drum. So it's going to sound like this. So let's hear how that sounds with the groove. So again, sounds quite different. To make that a little bit more interesting, a little bit of a more tricky idea would be to play that crash in a different place in that rhythm. So let's try playing it on the so 40 and instead. Now, because we're playing right, left, 4E and it's actually going to be our left hand that's going to come up and hit the crash. So pretty good practice for trying to play your bass drum and your left hand at the same time. It can be quite a tricky thing. Certainly if you're not used to it. So that would sound like this. And to the groove. Okay, so it's quite weird, it's quite a tricky thing to do. You'll notice on the notation that because we're playing on the we miss out beat 1 of the next bar entirely. Okay, so quite a tricky thing. So if you're having trouble with that kind of thing, you've got any questions about that, then chat with your DrumWise tutor about that. Okay, so another thing that we can then do with this kind of idea is to just change the sticking. So we're going to get rid of our right, left sticking, and we're going to change it to left, right, left. Okay, and I'm going to do it between the snare drum and the hi-hat. Okay, so now it becomes less of a fill idea and more kind of just a little variation on the groove, a little embellishment, if you like. So just because we have this rhythm and it starts off as a kind of drum fill, it doesn't have to stay that way. Okay, so remember, we're just trying to develop this as much as we can into lots of different ways. So let's just hear that with a groove. Okay, so quite a nice little variation. So all we've done there is just orchestrate this one idea, this one rhythm in a few different ways. There are way too many to kind of list. And the idea is that we don't want to write out all of these ideas on the notation. It's for you to kind of take this rhythm and for you to start to think for yourself, how could I actually play this differently around the kit? So those are some of the ways. So you've got plenty of cymbals and other drums on your kit, maybe some percussion stuff like a cowbell. Plenty of stuff for you to just try and mess around with and have some fun with and see which ideas you come up with. So what I'd encourage you to do is take any other rhythm that you know, maybe for example the lemonade rhythm, if you know that one, and apply the same thing. Start it off on the snare drum and then just try and develop it and see how far you can take it by applying this kind of orchestration idea. All right, and you'll find yourself get a ton of ideas just out of one very small rhythm. All right, so I hope that's been helpful for you. If you've got any questions about that, like I say, have a chat with your DrumWise tutor and they'll be able to talk you through anything. So take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. I've been Matt from DrumWise.